I brought it 314 React here. Today we are looking at 3DMark2000 with an RTX 4090 and a Ryzen 7700X with 32 gigabytes of RAM. Now this takes quite a bit to get installed on a modern system. The first thing you need is to go to the unsupported benchmarks page of 3DMark and go and download 3DMark2000 here, and they give you the key here now because the benchmark is so old they're giving it away for free, and it goes all the way up to 3DMark11. So a link to this will be in the description. Once you grab that, you need to go to VOGONS. Now this is where I've had to download numerous patches. There's a patch that someone called Teleguy has made here, and this patch gets around the MMX check because there's certain checks that 3DMark2000 has that are very out of date and they don't work with modern hardware, or they have some sort of incompatibility, or something's been hard coded. So it will detect modern CPUs as not having MMX, and also that makes it think your GPU doesn't have 4 megabytes of video memory, when of course the 4090 has 24 gigabytes of video memory, which is quite funny. So here's the patch for the Ryzen CPUs, which seems to get around the MMX thing, and then there's another patch here which then gets around the memory check. So once you've extracted both of those into the 3DMark installation folder, it should be able to run. There is also a frame lock fix, gets rid of a frame lock that appears to be on Windows 10 and Windows 8. I'm just going to leave that for now. And there is a patch here that allows for higher resolutions, because when you try and go, I think, beyond Quad HD, the whole thing just completely crashes. So this will allow you to go above those resolutions. What I have found though is that when you go above Quad HD, it will do it at 4K with that patch, but it doesn't display it in full screen properly, so you just see a kind of corner of the 4K image in 1080p. So what I'm doing is just running my desktop in 1080p here, and I'm just going to record all the benchmarks in 1080p, because if I have to do any more tweaking on this, I might just go insane, because to even get this installed was quite difficult, because when you try and install 3DMark2000, it will start the installer but then completely collapse in on itself, and you have to exit the installer through Task Manager. So what I had to do was go to an old PC, install it there, and then take the installed folder and drag it back onto a drive and drag it back onto this PC, where then I could apply the patches to it and run it. So with all of that, here we are, 3DMark2000. Now this has a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember finding this randomly, I think on a old demo CD many years ago, probably 22 years ago now, maybe even longer, and installing it on a very old machine, an old Pentium 2 450 with 64 megabytes of RAM, Windows 98 SE, and some onboard graphics chip, and it ran terribly, but it fascinated me so much because of the cool graphics. It's also the kind of thing you'd see in an old computer store with a computer at the front looping 3D Mark on it, and I just loved all the effects. All this kind of stuff got me really interested in graphics. So here we have the total video memory here, which I don't think is correct. Yeah, it's showing a maximum of 3 gigs of video memory there, which is quite funny. So it's not even able to fully display all the video memory on this. I doubt they ever thought back in 2000 that a GPU would ever have 24 gigabytes of VRAM on it. So here we go to the settings. So I'll put it on 1080p, 32-bit color, put it on 32-bit texture format. The Z buffer depth, there's something weird going on here. It's got either 16-bit, 24-bit, 24-bit, or 24-bit. So what I'm going to do is put it on 24-bit. Frame buffer, this is funny. You can set it to single, double, or triple. Now if you set it to single, it's just rendering to 1 frame at a time, which is quite funny. I'll give a quick example of that now. I remember doing this back in the day because it's just constantly rendering to the frame that's always on the screen. Let's do this. Text doesn't even load properly there. Is this going to work? Doesn't even work if you put single frame buffer on. Unfortunately, I can't show that off, but yeah, I imagine that's actually a hardware restriction. Now you probably can't actually make the hardware have a single frame buffer. Back in the day you could do it on older hardware. So we'll put that on triple buffering, and you've got the CPU optimization here. You've got D3D hardware TNL, which means the transform and lighting is being done on the actual GPU, which I think in the late 90s, early 2000s was still a relatively new thing. Or you can go on software mode, or you can put it on Pentium 3, which I don't know what that means. I guess that means that's software TNL but optimized for a Pentium 3. Either way, we're going to leave that on hardware TNL. Then we're going to go to the selected tests, and because we have the Pro version, we have every single test that we can have, and it takes about 11 minutes to run them all. So here we go. Let's run through the benchmark. I'm going to talk through it, and then we'll run the demo and talk through that, about the nostalgia about it, and then we'll check out the scores we got. Oh yes, here we go. You can see the lower fidelity has less trees, less lighting. I think less of a draw distance as well. You can see there's quite a bit of a distance fog there. It's a classic thing of the time. This reminds me of a game called Enemy Engaged Comanche vs. Hokum, which was very much around the time, I think 2001? Yeah, that was very heavy to run on that old PC. Of course, nowadays, I think it's basic cube map in that water there. Nowadays, this runs so smoothly. I mean, even I've got an old laptop from like 2004 with integrated graphics, and that runs this pretty well. But back in the day, even on top hardware, this was pretty rough on it. Like, I think I can run it on my old NVIDIA Reaver TNT, the Pentium 2, and it can lag up quite a bit. And here we go on to high detail, where we'll see lots of extra trees. Some of these trees have some sort of weird rendering issue on the Z buffer or something, because some in the foreground will render over trees in the background. It's funny how impressive this looked back in the day, and now it's very, very rudimentary. And here's the adventure game. I love the vertex shading here on that thing in the middle of the street there. Oh yeah, that looks good. So this used Max FX technology, which I believe borrowed some of the game engine elements from Max Payne, which is why some parts of this look similar. And at some point we'll look at 3DMark 2001, which has a very Max Payne style graphical test on it. There we go, the graphical fidelity's going up. You can see the barrels immediately have more polygons. There's more dudes walking around. I think the shadowing's a little bit more advanced. Do you know what would be funny? To put RTX Remix on this. That'd be cool. 3DMark2000 RTX Remix. Oh, you can see the I think there's even bilinear filtering there. I think you probably could force anisotropic on this, but I wanted to maintain the original look as far as I could. Yeah, look at those barrels. Look at that vertex shading. Oh, it's so good. So nice. And then the water there is pretty plain. Just a basic, it looks like a basic planar reflection in it. Not even any movement on the water, no bump map, anything like that. CPU speed could not run test. Okay. I'm guessing that's because it thinks the CPU doesn't have MMX on it and therefore can't run it. Damn. Well, never mind. There's the multi-texturing. Oh yeah, look at that. So nice. So nostalgic. Just remember running this time and time again when I got a PC in my room just after school. Oh yeah, look at that. Here we go. When you increase the amount of lights, this looks really good. See, look, got like the 4 lights there. I think there's another one after it, which is a test I always reference whenever I see lighting similar to this. Here we go, yep, here we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so nice. I think this should have some bump mapping tests on it as well, so we should see that. While it doesn't include bump mapping in the majority of the tests, I think there is a specific bump mapping test. Here we go. The 16 megabyte texture rendering speed. 16 megabyte, my god. .32 megabyte texture speed. I remember the original graphics that I had back in the day wouldn't run the 64 megabyte one. So the first time I ever saw this was probably when I got my newer PC in 2006. Or, I know, probably when I got the FX 5500. I think my onboard wouldn't do it. Oh, here we go. Emboss bump mapping. Oh, look at that. The basic bump mapping. And then we go on to full-on EMBM bump mapping. After this. Here we go. There we go, environment bump mapping. Oh, yeah, look how good that looks. Image quality, theoretical. Oh, I think that just ran it internally. Oh, there we go. So it wouldn't show the image ones. So there's some things it can't run. And we got 4,300 3D marks, which is obviously a little bit less than what we should be getting. Because obviously it couldn't run some of the tests and we were limited to 60 FPS. So reality, that should be tens of thousands of 3D marks, really. But never mind. This is what happens when you're trying to run a 24-year-old piece of software on Windows 11 with brand new stuff. So that's pretty cool. That was a very nostalgic little trip. Now, let's go through my favorite bit, and probably everyone's favorite bit that we've seen at the start. And if you're still here, we're going to play it again, but I'm going to commentate my way through it in a nostalgic, rambly sort of way. So let's do it. So this is where you can put it in the default 640 by 480 16-bit, or you can use the selected resolution, which is 1080. Oh man, here we go. This is it. This is so good, and it's not just nostalgia, because the first time I saw this, it blew my mind. And I probably saw the 3DMark 2001 demo around the same sort of time, and I don't have the same feeling about that. But this one, it just blew me away. It blew me away, and it still blows me away now. It's the music, it's the levels displayed here, it's the timing, it's the camera movement, it's everything. It's so good. Like, I know it's easy to say it's not nostalgia, but I really don't think it is. It's not just nostalgia anyway. There's a little bit more to it. And I don't think any 3D Mark since has managed to match this level. Oh yeah. Again, these bits, I almost still expect the frame rate to drop whenever I see particle effects on this. My brain is expecting the frame rate to drop, but of course it doesn't now. Oh, this is it. This is it. Oh, yes. The 3D sort of DirectX 8 glob thing. Oh, man, look at that. That is just so awesome. This is where it really ramps up. And of course this bit is kind of reminiscent of Halo. Some, not sure if that's cube mapping, but it's some sort of chrome effect, similar to the effect in Half-Life. Look at that. Like I said, DirectX 8 is an aesthetic. It's an art style now. And here we go, this bit. My old GPU would always, the frame rate would always drop at this bit. I still expect it to. Now it ramps up. Oh man. The music. Oh, the music is so good. Oh, so awesome. Yes. Here we go. Here we go, the Matrix bit. Because everything was the Matrix back then. Oh, yeah. Look at that water effect. Oh my god. I remember running this over and over again. And just thinking, can my GPU play Halo 1? It must be able to, because it can render this water. Of course, not realizing this is just a tiny, isolated little room. And obviously not the silent cartographer. Boy, I really didn't know a lot back then. Oh, man. Just the camera movement, look at it. It's just so badass. It's awesome. And then we have the list of company names, which is almost, well, it is sad, really, because nowadays it's so consolidated and so corporate. Nowadays it would be what? AMD, NVIDIA, Intel. And that's probably all it'd be. But back here, you'll see them in a minute. Oh man, look at the effect on those things in the back. Here we go. 3DFX, 3D Labs, 3DSL, AMD, ARS Technology, ATI Technologies, BitBoys, Blue Micro, Compact Computer Corporation, Creative Labs, Dell. Well, some of these probably would exist now, actually. But yeah, Hercules, no, that was an old graphics card distributor, I believe. Matrox, long gone, I think. Real 3D, S3, VIA, Trident. Man, either those companies are just gone, or they've been absorbed into other companies. What a look into the past, though. What a look. "3DMark will return." See, they were doing it long before Marvel did it. Oh, it looks so good. Kicks you out back to the main screen here, but the mouse lags for a bit for some reason. I also love this old way of doing things as well, the old Windows sort of way of doing things here. I just like that better than all the menus and stuff on the newer ones. They need to bring more of this sort of stuff back, like Windows and Unreal. Escape from Tarkov does it pretty well with its Windows system, but yeah, I just love this sort of thing. It just gives a lot more freedom and feels a lot more technical as well. You can go on the result browser. The result browser is not even installed. It's old. Batch run. So you can just run a whole load of batches, 1 hour and 2 minutes, to run all different resolutions. And oh, look at that. That's so cool. Damn, that's awesome. So if you had to tick everything on here. Estimated time, 368 hours and 7 minutes. Wow. Because yeah, it has to rerun all of the benchmarks with all those different settings each time. And also this old school image here, look at this. That's beautiful, man. That is just absolutely beautiful. That's like, what, 8-bit color or something? Oof. We're not going to run all that. That'd be way too long of a video. So look at system info. Windows version Windows 6 build 9200. Okay, guessing that was the maximum it went up to. DirectX version 4.9. BIOS version Alaska. Don't know what that means. BIOS state not available. Total physical memory 2 gigabytes. Processor, well, it reports the processor, okay, I'm guessing that's just a string. Processor speed, max speed, yeah, that seems right. Bizarrely, it has MMX as a capability there. Cache sizes, I don't think they're right. See what it says about the 4090, not certified. Total video memory minus, like what's that, a gigabyte, minus 64 kilobyte. Oh, that's so funny. Bus AGP, oh, it's so good. There must be a lot of try catches in the code with this stuff where it's trying to analyze, like, oh, it's PCI Express, but oh, it doesn't know what that is, so it just catches it and defaults to AGP. And there's all the supported features, which of course won't reference ray tracing or anything. That is brilliant. So yeah, that was a nostalgic look at 3DMark2000. Like I said, you can grab it from the website and you can go on that thread from VOGONS.com. Links in the description, but I probably wouldn't recommend it because it's quite hacky and it takes quite a lot of time. I would probably just recommend grabbing 3DMark2000 and just putting it on an old machine and running it there. For nostalgic purposes, it is quite fun, and it's also hilarious to run it on a 4090 and still only get 4,000 3DMark points. Thanks for watching. Please do give a like and a subscribe. The next 2 videos may be quite short as well, as I'll be on holiday. So I'm doing this video quite quickly now because, yeah, I'm setting up for the holiday, and I'll probably get the next 2 videos out while I'm on holiday, so they probably will be very short videos done on my laptop, but I should still have videos coming out, so stick around, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think of 3DMark2000. Were you around when 3DMark2000 was being primarily used, and did you run it yourself on of the era hardware, or did you just find out about it now, and what do you think of it compared to today's modern stuff? Let me know. Subscribe for future videos on tech and video games. I hope everyone's staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.